Hello, thank you for your interest in this course for the International Institute for the Sociology of Law Master. This course is titled Criminal Policy in Times of Post-Truth. So first of all, what is that post-truth word? Well, we think that we have to contextualize that when we talk about criminal policy, and by it we refer to this section of public policy which responds to criminality, and thus it is very much linked to state social control. So we have to contextualize in the times we live that we have a more and more polarized world. A war of antagonism, a war of fake news, a war of bots retweeting, and we want to contextualize criminal policy in this world. First of all, we want to discuss, to debate that difference between criminal policy and criminal politics. Which is that difference? And when we talk about the evidence necessary to make an adequate criminal policy, what are we referring to? Is it possible to have an objective evidence? So there are a lot of epistemological issues involved in this term. It is also true that we want to contextualize this course on criminal policy in these times of post-truth that are related also to these trends of popular punitivism, the excessive use of criminal law in a way of dividing the line between enemies and friends. It is also a context where we want to analyze how in different countries, for different kinds of crimes, there is a use that we can characterize as symbolic and promotional of criminal law. But many different groups, even progressive groups such as feminist groups or environmentalist groups, how is the use of this criminal law? They are using criminal law, and how might be that in the end criminal law is also, all the inertias and logic there is using them or is perverting them in a way. We are going to make some factors here that I think they're worth to underline, that is talking about the stakeholders in criminal policy and talking about the scales in criminal policy. Talking about stakeholders in criminal policy, who are the stakeholders for criminal policy? We'll be debating in our readings and then discussing which is the role of the media, which is the role of political parties, different lobbies, victim movements, corporations as lobbies as well, different professionals. Do they have the same weight, policemen or the magistrates, and so on. And this, we want to put it in scales that, so that we don't talk too generally, that we frame all these problems in different kinds of crimes. It's not the same to talk about terrorism or to talk about sex crimes. It's different, right? Different crimes, also different demographic profiles. When the victim belongs to certain ethnic minority, it's different the response, right? And also the scale of territories. How is criminal policy done at the local level, at the provincial level, at the state level, or internationally or more globally? And finally, and we do think this is very important, is the technological scale. How this mass surveillance, in many ways, is a kind of social control which is really entering into our lives, and how this is also being used for controlling in criminal policy. So more or less, this is the content of the course. But of course, this is open. In the year 2019, it's going to be only me who is going to be responsible for the course. Then, in the year 2020, we are going to work together, Professor Johannes Fest from Bremen and I. And Professor Johannes Fest is my maestro. I learned from him. He was my professor in the master in Oñati quite a lot of years ago. And I'm very happy to share it with him. And the most important thing is that we want to make students really the ones who make this course. So it's an open course where we can put more things than this that I just told about. And we can construct a course that is interesting for anyone coming from many different parts of the world. So it will be great if we see us then. Thank you very much.